Good morning, ladies. Can you hear me so far? For those of you who are on, can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
All right, thank you. I'm going to just wait a while until more persons have signed in, and then we're going to start at 10 o'clock.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, Jamira.
Good morning, miss.
Morning. All right, so for those of you who just came in, good morning. We're going to wait just 3 more minutes to see if anyone else would sign in. All right? In the meantime, if there are any questions you'd like to ask, I'm asking you please to write it down or keep notes so that you can ask me some during the conversation or after I explain certain parts of the SBA which persons were having problems with. And any other questions in regards to AutoCAD, you can also ask at the end. Okay. All right, so we're going to start this morning. Again, good morning to those of you who have just signed in. This morning's session is to just discuss or to clarify a few points on the SBA draft proposal, which some persons may have had a few questions or wanted me to clarify a few things, okay? And for certain parts which I thought or realized weren't fully explained, I'm going to explain it here this morning. So before I start, let's just have a moment of prayer. So get yourselves in attitude for prayer. Lord, as you conduct this morning's session, I ask you please to enlighten the minds of each and every student that's here this morning. Any questions that they may have to ask, I ask you please to allow them to be able to express themselves in a manner which they will not feel uncomfortable or feel as if they're incapable of doing such. Lord, I also ask you to allow me to explain what I need to explain to the best of my abilities in order to guide them through this session this morning. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so I'm going to start this morning by just reading a portion of the proposal which was sent to you, or the revised version which was sent to you about a week ago. All right. Now I'm going to skip the first 3 paragraphs and I'm going to start from the 4th, in which it states the fifth form students are tasked with the responsibility to design a technical drafting room and a computer room using the existing building. The area must include the listed amenities. All right. Conditions are The existing TD room, an estimated size was given 26 feet by 26 feet. The computer room, also a control room within the computer room, all right? A control room, area and workstation. C, storage room. D, locker room. And E, bathroom facilities. Now it continues below where it says the existing technical drawing room must remain and additional rooms must be added to accommodate the listed amenities. Drafting room should have 20 drawing boards, teacher's desk, cupboards, and shelves. The computer room should be designed to accommodate 30 computer stations and a control room. Locker area must be able to cater for 50 bags. Bathroom facility with 3 stalls, 1 for staff. Storage room must be designed with cupboards and shelves, and consideration must be made to the layout of the classroom so that there are flexible seating arrangements in the event that there should be changes made to accommodate an exam. All right. So first of all, we're going to start off with the conditions. Starting off with condition A, the existing building, which is the TD room on the quote. Now the estimated size is it wasn't measured yet, but the estimated size of the room is 26 feet by 26 feet. All right. Now, with that as your starting point, you'll have to, well, as you may have read, you must include a drafting room and a computer room, not a drafting room in a computer room, which I think the last proposal did not really specify that. So for those of you who needed that clarification, there should be 2 separate rooms. Okay? So the drafting room will have to hold 20 drawing boards, like what you see currently in the present room. And the second room, which is the computer room, will have to hold 30 tables, which can accommodate, 30 workstations, that can accommodate 30 computers in the event that AutoCAD has been introduced into the program. All right. So the first clarification that you need to know so far is that there are 2 rooms, a drafting room and a computer room. Okay. Any questions so far in regards to that section? I'll prefer a verbal response, please, to know that everyone understands. Or if anybody who has any questions to ask in regards to this, please ask now.
Miss, I have a question.
Please.
Miss, is the drafting room and the computer room supposed to be in the existing TD building, or we have to like add extra rooms to the existing TD building?
Okay. Now again, I said it has to be separate. Okay, so it's up to you whether you want to use the current TD room as a computer room or you want to use it as, or leave it as a drafting room. Okay, but in terms of additional rooms, you have to create space for that. So I'm going to get to that just now. Okay.
Okay, Miss.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Moving on to section B. Computer room with control room area and a workstation. Control room or area and a workstation. Sorry. All right. So for those of you, which I'm assuming everyone knows what the IT room looks like, you're going to realize that there's also a cubicle within the back section of the room. All right. Now, it just so happened that that section there houses all the different what they call servers in order to control the internet and whatnot and other electrical components for the computers within the school. All right. Now, in most IT rooms or even computer rooms, they have a workstation with the servers being there, but also it can also be an area where the teacher conducts a class from or is able to control everyone's computer from that particular area or cubicle. All right. Hence the reason why option B states that you should have a control room within the computer room or control area and a workstation. Again, it's left like that so that you can imagine or choose to imagine however you want that particular room to look. All right. So you're not so hence the reason why we didn't specify anything in that regard is so that you can use your imagination to make that particular room to look the way how you want it to look. All right. Any questions in regards to that portion? Is everyone clear with that? Verbal response to say yes. Any questions?
Yes, I'm clear.
All right then. Moving on to C, storage room. All right. Now, again, that is left to your discretion to in which rooms you want to create storage. All right. Meaning that, for example, within a drafting room, you'll want to have storage for what materials or items or equipment that may be in the in the drafting room. So just for example, we have T-squares. Okay. If you would have a TD room, would you want the T-squares to be in a particular cupboard or storage area? Or you want to have a particular room blocked off to have those particular materials there so that in the event that Sharon would not see fit to take it and go home with or someone to come and steal it. So would you like to have those equipment locked off in a particular area? All right. Or in the event for storage for a computer room, same thing applies. Would you prefer to have, let's say, um, extra equipment, for example, keyboards, mouses, those things stored within a particular area within the computer room? Again, that's left to your discretion to choose what sort of storage you want for each room. All right. Also keep in mind for cleaning materials such as brooms, mops, mop buckets. These are things that is left up to your discretion to choose what sort of layout or which area you want that particular room to be within your particular design. All right. Hence the reason why no specifications were given. Any questions in regards to that?
Miss, if it's not like a room, but like a cupboard, like a big cupboard, that's okay.
Mm, hmm. Again, the stated storage room. Ms. Peters, if you're there, can you please answer that? Or second what I'm about to say because it said storage room, I think it's best that you have a
Yes,
enclosed area.
good
Okay.
morning to everybody. Because it says storage room, it should be a storage room, not a cupboard. Because when it's marked, then they're looking for the storage room. That's why they give conditions. So it's a storage room. And as you rightly said, it doesn't have a specific size. So based on what they want to put in the storage room, then they can put it in there.
Question, Miss. Can you have cupboards in the storage room? So like say you have a storage room for itself. Can you put like cupboards and shelves and stuff in the storage room?
Yes,
You can.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ms. Peters.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions in regards to storage room from anybody? All right. Moving on to the locker room. Now, within the previous draft, it was said, well, we were going to do a locker room, but then again, through discussions with Ms. Peters, we decided to have a locker area or an area for having bags, right, Miss? So for D, I think that's more of, well, my negligence in terms of having put in a room when it should be when it should be locker area. All right. So instead of confining a particular area to have bags, I thought that having probably a particular area with shelves would have been more adequate and would have taken up less space with to store bags. So For those of you who are reading, so locker room, change it to locker area, please, or just keep locker area in mind and not a particular room to place bags, please. All right. Any questions with that so far?
Miss John, what I was thinking, because I think for some persons, they're probably thinking that, wow, that's a lot that they have to do.
Yeah.
So what I will suggest is for them to get the different areas. So for example, they do the existing, so if they're doing the drawings on the AutoCAD or they're doing the drawings on the paper first, they have a section for the existing TD room. Then they have the section for the computer lab. Then they could have the area for the storage room. Then the next area for the locker area. So as we said, now when you look at some persons look at these teen, what do you call it, like the programs and so on, and they have locker room, but the locker, not the locker room, but the locker areas, they are more or less in the corridor.
Yeah.
So the corridor can be wide enough so that they can have the lockers on that particular section, right? Then they have the locker area, and then they have the bathroom facility. So I think because they're looking at everything together, it seems as though, oh, that's a lot of work that they have to do. So what I suggest is that they do the draft, they do the 3 or 4 different areas, and then within the areas now, they will see how they can best fit in the locker area, the computer, what they have to do in the computer. Because I mean, as a student, we put the SBA together. So they say, but Miss and them know that they put it together, you know, and they were trying to confuse us. It's not that. It's just that you have to learn how to use all the listed amenities without getting flustered. So you do it in the sections, as I say, under the conditions. Do the sections there first, and then after you see how best you work out the locker area, the computer room. How am I going to do the computer area? How am I going to place the desk and so on? So I think if they do it from that approach, it will be better. But as you say, with the locker area, is not a room per se, but see where it can be placed without any obstructions. You have to put bags, or you have to put your computers and so on in the locker area. You don't want any obstruction. So think to see where you can best put it in that particular area that they want to put it in.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for explaining that, Miss. All right, so everyone understood what Miss Peters just said? Verbal response, please.
Yes, Miss.
Thank you. And the last section is bathroom facilities. Okay, so within a bathroom, you know what fixtures you should have within that particular area. Okay, I'm gonna clarify that section in a while, because the way how it was stated within the proposal, some persons may have thought otherwise, but I'm gonna come to that in a while. All right. So moving on to the notes below. The first one says the existing technical drawing room must remain and additional rooms must be added to accommodate the listed amenities. All right. Now, meaning that the current TD room, which you know of on the court, should remain. All right. Now, in terms of the additional rooms that should be placed within the area, it's up to you now to use your creativity and common sense to think, how will I want to design that particular floor plan to accommodate the following conditions that were listed above, okay? So for example, if some persons think that they want to add another level to the current building, that can be done, all right? If other persons think that they prefer to keep things at a particular level, all right, or everything on the same level or ground level, like how it's currently existed. So for example, you want to, let's say, eliminate one of the board buildings on the court to accommodate that facility, you can do that as well if you wish. All right. Remember that certain things should remain. So, for example, you know that that particular area in the back, you know, the agricultural science students have their chicken coop there. Probably, depending on how your design is, you want to keep that particular facility the way how it is. All right. Not saying that you have to create a draft explaining like where you want certain things to position, but you can have like a particular area which states agricultural science area, all right, a practical area, to know that that particular area within the plan is dedicated to that subject, all right. And in the event if you were to have an upper level, let's say probably you have the classroom above covering that area, okay. I don't think I explained that the way I want to explain, but let me try again. All right.
Can I interject?
Yeah, sure.
I know, Miss, I believe, well, you have some of the students who are more versed with the technology and they understand the concepts of buildings and so much better. So for those persons, which may or may not be the majority, persons who want to do 2 levels, like like we call our upstairs and a downstairs, they probably can do that that design. Or I suggest for the persons who do not want to do additional, because at this time we don't know how many days they will be in, how many hours you will have for us to be able to fully help them. So they will be doing a lot of on their own. I suggest that they keep it on 1 level. So I know in years gone by when Sister Maureen was there, they decided to demolish that the board structure. So that where now Miss Romaine, that's the, how you call it, the PE area, and where the rest, they had other classrooms there. They had planned to demolish there and then probably put other facilities there. So for the students who thinking, no, this here is not what will actually happen in the future, but we are actually putting this as our scenario why we want to do this TD lab. We don't know if when in maybe years to come, they decide, okay, this is a good draft and we can use this in the future. We don't know, but normally we put the SBA together and it is not a factual SBA, if you understand. So we can, for now, I don't know if I'm saying to you, but I don't know if we can, if we should consider the, that with the kitchen cube, I don't think we should factor in that. So let's maybe focus on, well, do the drawing of the TD lab and then see if we can utilize, because the building right now, they probably might be thinking it's 2 separate buildings that they're designing, but you want them to join the building. So it must be joined. And if they have to join, it means that it's part of the, how you call that, where the kitchen cube is, that may get locked or demolished. So I'm just saying, maybe let's not tell them the kitchen cube area, but let's see if we can utilize where the board building is, and let them maybe do the extension from the TD lab there. So they will the building will be together and not.
But for the persons within, the persons who may be able to understand what I tried to explain earlier,
they can
is it possible they could go ahead and make?
Yes, because I know you have students who can do the 2 levels. I'm just thinking in terms of some others who might be already struggling with the AutoCAD, and then to do 2 levels when they're doing, they have to do sections. For them, it might be difficult. That it can't be done. I'm just thinking in terms of the time that we have allotted. It might be best for those who may not understand the concepts very well to stay on one level. But as I said, there are students who can do both levels, and we will welcome that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you. Any questions?
Excuse me, Miss. So we
Mhm.
have to factor in the surrounding environment into the plan then.
Yes, we factor in the surrounding environment, okay? But what Miss was trying to explain was that for persons who may not be able to do, okay, you have to factor in the environment, yes, okay? So you can utilize the area where the board buildings are, okay? Just the portion where the board buildings are and nothing more. So just the area where the board buildings are, you can create additional rooms. But for example, the section in the back where you know where the chicken coop is, don't touch anything within that particular area. All right?
Okay.
All right, Rochelle?
Yes, Miss.
You sure answer the question
For the most part.
for the most part? But yes, you have to keep in mind your factor in environment, okay?
Okay.
Any other
So I have a
questions?
question.
Mhm.
Yes, so I'm hearing AutoCAD coming up, but I thought it was supposed to be done on paper. Is it done anywhere or does it have to be done on AutoCAD?
No, I asked for sketches, which means that your proposed sketch should not be done on AutoCAD. AutoCAD is when you actually know this is what I'll be drawing, then you're going to transfer it onto AutoCAD. But right now we're within the preliminary stage where you're doing drafts or sketches to at least know that this is what I would like to do. Okay? So
Okay.
for persons who actually went ahead and started AutoCAD and started to frustrate themselves with that, there was no need to do that. All I wanted you to do was to generate ideas and put them down on paper before you actually create the flow plan. Okay? Now, ladies, we
Okay.
have less than 10 minutes left. I'm not too sure how long it's going to take before it cuts off. So if it does cut off, I'm asking you please to sign back in, okay?
Yes, I have a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you said that this is just a draft. So Miss, is it okay that we don't have the specific measurements that we want
Mm-hmm.
to use as yet?
It's okay.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, Amaya. Amaya, your hand is up. And if you're saying something I can't hear you.
Miss, I have a question. You said that we could join the rooms together, but as I am watching back, how is that possible?
What do you mean join rooms together?
It's like the old building with the existing building. How that is possible joining it because of the agriculture science place.
All right, so let me explain that. When you have a house and you decide, okay, you have 2 bedrooms and now you want to do 4 bedrooms, or you want to do an additional 2 bedrooms. Sometimes depending on how the land is, you may have to decide, okay, should I do a square building? Should I do a L-shaped building? Is how best can I put this so that the building doesn't, you don't want your bedrooms, you want 2 additional bedrooms, but you put it on the side. If you put it on the side, it means that when I need to I have to come out from the 2 bedroom that I build and then go into the main room, in the main house. So if you have to put that together based on the land and based on how you can decide to adjoin the building by either putting a corridor or something to adjoin the building. So it shouldn't be 2 separate. That's what we're saying. It should not be 2 separate buildings. Yes, it is because of the where the TD lab is or room is currently and where the board building is. You may have to, you have to adjoin it, but see how best you can now put in a portion so that the building is together. So now we're not saying, remember there's the court, you have the court and then you have this kind of driveway that is to be able to enter the TD room. So where that the board building is, you can make sure that the building, that portion, if you start from where they have the hoop there, if you start there, the building should go back now and adjoin, it should be joined to the existing building. So you now have to, as a designer, you now have to see how best I can put this together so that they're not separated. So that is your headache to put it together because you are the designer. You understand now?
Yes, Miss, thank you.
Miss, I have another question.
Yes.
Is it okay that we have an additional room or space? So, Miss, not exactly a room, but just an additional space in the building.
For a particular purpose.
So, Miss, once it has a purpose, it's okay.
No, I'm asking her for what particular purpose?
Maybe like a study area or yeah, something like that.
Which room is she referring to? The TD, the existing TD room?
No, I think what she meant is that if you were to, well, not it, well, creating another room for students, like for example, like a study room for students to use in the event that, let's say, the drafting and computer room is not available. That's what you meant, Cordana?
Yes, Miss.
What she can do is to make the room a little bigger so that there's a space for that to happen. Because if
Okay.
it's there, they did not say that you can do additional room for, for study purposes.
Okay.
If it's big enough, then you have a section and you can justify the section. So it's not just doing a big room, but if you can justify why this is so big that you're going to have this in that section, but it should not look like, it shouldn't be a room per se. Because when we mark in, we are looking for the conditions, and when the moderators come to check, they are looking for the conditions under which was stated, right?
Yeah.
So you can do that, but it shouldn't be called. So it's okay. It's like you go and you want to have you want a designer, you want an architect to design for you, and you told them that you want, this is what you want. You want 2 bedrooms, a living room, etc., etc. And then you decide, or the designer or the architect decide that no, we will put 4 rooms because one has to be. That's not what you ask for. You understand? So you say, but I cannot afford this. So you have to always bear in mind what they ask for. And then you can, if you want to make it a little bigger and say, well, okay, you said that you wanted 2 rooms. So I did 2 rooms, but I did a little bigger just in case you want to put a computer section within the room. That's fine. So you can justify that space there. So it can happen, but you had to justify this space, but not this additional room. Understood?
Yes, Miss.
Okay.
Miss, I have another question.
Sure.
You said that the current TD room must remain. Does it have to remain where it is on the court? Or can I
Yes.
say okay. And what about the kind of area in front of the boardroom, like where some teachers may park? What about that?
It's about to cut off in a while, okay? So I'm gonna answer when it comes back on.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss.
Miss,
Yes.
oh, you hear me now? Sorry, Miss, my mic wasn't working before. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
Miss, I was asking you to answer my messages, please.
Oh, you meant on WhatsApp?
Yes, Miss, I really, really need to understand what's going on with my AutoCAD. It's upsetting.
Mm-hmm. Hence the reason why at the beginning of our session here, I said anyone who has any problems with AutoCAD, I'm gonna ask the questions at the end of the presentation, and I'll answer them.
Okay.
Okay, because there may be other persons who are experiencing the same problem. And I want to see it in a setting where everyone actually hears what to do. Okay, and don't have to message me every single day. All right, Amaya? Amaya? Amaya, did you hear what I said? Amaya,
Yes, miss?
did you hear everything that I said?
No, miss, my call was breaking up. That's why I left to come back in.
Okay. Now, as I said, there may be other persons who are experiencing the same problem with AutoCAD. So hence the reason why I wanted to see it on this platform so that everyone can hear what I'm saying. So in the event that if they were to experience the same problem,
I'm
it can be
hearing
resolved.
persons experiencing the same problem, hence the reason.
Hmm. Is there anyone else who's not hearing me clearly?
Miss, I not hearing you at all. You're
Yes,
just
miss.
breaking up.
Miss, you've been breaking up since the beginning.
Well, y'all in the same. Well,
Miss,
besides Amaya and Christine, is
Mhm.
there anyone else who's having problems?
Miss, I'm hearing clearly.
Miss.
Christina and Amaya, y'all using data?
No, miss, on my cell phone.
Are you
No,
close?
miss.
Are you close to the server?
Yes, miss.
Really? Is
I
anyone
can hear
else?
you.
Kana, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, miss.
And Dala,
Yes, miss.
Kira,
Yes, miss.
Christina, and Amaya, I think something wrong with all your phone.
Miss, I without that.
You told that? But everybody else have. But then again, probably other persons are using their laptops. I'm not too sure. I would like to assume that's the problem. All right. So to answer the person who asked me the question before, Abigail.
Yes, miss. I was asking about the little parking
For
area.
parking area, yeah.
Yes, miss.
All right.
What I suggest is that we forget that, leave the
Leave the
we
area as it is.
yeah, but we could probably take a portion off, not the whole thing, because with all, whenever you're doing, you have to do any modification, buildings and so on. Sometimes something has to leave, something has to give.
Okay.
So you need to use, depending on your design, if you need to use some of the space, then we'll welcome that, because before when we had the court area, that is just where the court was. It was able to, teachers had there, and we didn't have all of these vehicles there. It's just one or two were parked on the court. Now, I mean, almost all the teachers have their vehicles are there. But if we have to use the court, then we'll have to have alternatives to that area. So it means that we could, if we need to use there, and it's a greater purpose, because we need to have done running and so on. So it means that we will have to use a portion. So if you want to use a portion of the thing, just go right ahead and use the portion of it. So long as you don't go beyond where the hoop, where they have the hoop for basketball, so long as you don't go beyond that part.
Okay, thank you, miss.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Any other questions in regards to spacing for additional rooms? All right. Moving on to drafting room should, well, both rooms and the amount of stations they should have. Okay. Now, keep in mind, please, that you're designing an area for, well, for the drafting rooms for the tables, okay, and for the computer rooms for areas where you can use your laptop or use a computer, which will be provided by the school, okay. Now, as I said, the computer room should accommodate 30 computer stations. All right. Now, what I'm gonna advise students to do is to do a little research in terms of spacing that you need for, let's say, a computer, for you to place a computer monitor, or let's say an entire computer unit with the control unit attached, to have an estimate of how wide your space should be. All right. In terms of how you want the layout for that particular room to be, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you that it should look like this. It's up to you to do your own research online to know what you want that computer room to look like. All right. If you want to use the current IT room as an example, so for example, you have the workstation at the area, the back for the teacher, and then you have the projector at the front. If you would like your, well, I would like for you all to at least make accommodations for a projector at the front. How would you go about putting that design? Don't design, for example, like your projector at the front, teacher station is at the back, and then how the tables are laid out, that some students are unable to see what's at the front of the classroom. Okay, so again, be mindful of how you create the layout for your desk, for the design, for the computer room in particular, and keep the same ideas in mind for when you're doing the drafting room as well. All right. Any questions? All right. Moving on to the fourth point, which says, well, locker rooms must be able to cater for 50 bags. We spoke about that earlier on in terms of creating a particular space to place those bags. All right. So we're not focusing on a particular locker room, but a locker area. All right. The fifth one says bathroom facility with 3 stalls, 1 for staff. Okay. Now, when writing this, what was meant was that there should be 3 toilet facilities in total, or water closets, but 1 should be for teachers. Okay, so in total there should only be 3 bathroom stalls. Okay, so again, 2 for students, 1 for the teacher. That is what was meant, but then again, the way how I phrased it, it seems as if 3 for students and 1 for the teacher. So for those of you who may have had that concept before, I'm asking you please to change it. And it would be 3 toilet facilities in total, or 3 water closets, 2 for students and 1 for the teacher. Okay. Any questions so far?
Miss, I have a question. For the bathroom, is there, because there's 1 for the teacher, can I design it in a way that is kind of blocked off, or you need like specific access to get to the teacher's bathroom, so you won't have students just using the teacher's one?
Sure, you can
Or
do that.
or doesn't matter?
Again, it's up to you.
Okay, miss.
All right. Any other questions? All right. The other point states storage room must be designed with cupboards and shelves. Now, as Ms. Peters explained earlier on, the storage room should be a separate room, okay? And it's up to you whether you want to create cupboards or shelves within that room. All right, it's up to you. Well, not up to you. It's stated that you should. All right. And the last one, consideration must be made to the layout of the classroom so that there are flexible seating arrangements in the event that there should be changes made to accommodate an exam. So that section ties in with the first, the second, and third, with the amount of tables and computer stations that we have. Now, most likely that when students have to sit their exam, most likely what's going to happen is that there should be a particular distance between students, or there should be at least a barricade so that people will not be able to copy from each other in the event of an exam. Now, seeing that COVID has been a situation within the world, it has reinforced that sense of personal space within our social and commercial environments. Okay, so please be mindful that with the current world affairs and conditions when it comes to personal space, that should also be applied for the arrangement of your tables within both the rooms. Okay. All right, students, you understand?
Yes, miss.
All right then.
Yes, miss.
Now, are there any questions that you would like to ask that I probably or you didn't understand from what I said earlier? Feel free to ask now.
Miss,
In
when you
regards
mean,
to sorry.
Miss, go ahead.
No, just meant in regards to SBA. Are there any questions you'd like to ask?
Miss, so when you mean flexing seating arrangements, like the table and chairs could be movable?
Yes, they can be movable as well, if you so want it to be. Okay.
No, miss, if you have to be movable.
If it has to.
Yes, miss.
Well, for the drafting room, it's going to be movable. For the computer room, it can be. Again, as I said, it's up to you to design the area. So it can be. Okay. I'm going to leave the option open for the computer room whether you want it to be movable or not. Okay.
Okay, miss, thank you.
All right.
Miss, for the existing TD building, can we like change it into any other room, or does it have to be either the computer room or the drafting room?
It has to be either or.
Okay.
Miss, for the preliminary draft, we have to draw in the tables and show the layout and stuff of the room.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a time that well, not all of this, but the sketch has to be completed by?
The draft?
Yes, miss.
Well, again, I don't want to put a stipulated date as yet because not everyone will be able to complete everything at a particular time, but I would safely say by Sunday. Okay.
Okay, miss.
Yes.
But I suggest, Miss, they will take a picture and send it for us to see.
Yes.
So
But
in the meantime,
there's something else I want to speak to him about, but we won't be able to complete it today. That's why I want us to have a follow-up session on Thursday, God's willing,
okay.
to speak about that particular area. But before I get to that, I just want to hear if there are any problems in regards to the SBA.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, ladies?
Yes, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
For the locker area, can it be inside the drafting room or the computer room?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Miss, only if it would not affect while classes in progress.
I was just about to go and say that.
Yeah, because if in the thing and then every minute they have to come and that would be distracting.
Yeah.
So maybe it could happen, but it has to be a section where it wouldn't affect
Obstruct.
what is
Yeah.
happening. Or maybe if we can we could leave it up to them because I don't want to say everything because they have to come up with their design. So
I
yeah,
understand.
let's see what they come up with and then we'll tell them yes or no or yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, ladies? All right. Now, after you've created your sketches or what you would like your proposed room areas to look like, okay? We then have to transfer those drawings and measurements onto a scale, okay? So even though, yes, when you do your sketch, your building doesn't look, your current building does not measure 26 feet by 26 feet, when you have to put your drawing into scale, it would have to have an estimated drawing of estimated measurement of 26 by 26 feet, all right? With that being said, it means that we'll have to use graph paper. Everyone knows what graph paper is, right? The one that you use in math.
Yes, miss.
All right. So you use graph paper to aid you in that sense before you decide to do the drawing onto AutoCAD. So the design process starts off with sketches. Once the sketch is approved, then you move on to your scale drawing, which is usually done on a graph paper. Okay. And then from your scale drawing, you move on to AutoCAD. So once those first two steps are completed, then you can move on to AutoCAD. All right. Now, in terms of how you're going to go about doing that scale drawing on the graph paper, I would like to show you all that on Thursday, God's willing. But for now, I just want you to concentrate on what you want your building or your classroom areas to look like. All right, ladies? Okay.
Yes, miss.
All right.
Okay, miss.
Now, in regards to AutoCAD, for persons who may have gotten a computer or a computer to work with, or one student asked if you're having problems signing into AutoCAD. So for example, you've downloaded AutoCAD and you enabled the 30-day trial on AutoCAD and it has expired. I'm going to advise you not to uninstall AutoCAD. Leave it as it is on your computer. All right. What you need to do is to go to your Windows icon on your computer. Maya, I hope you're listening. Go to the Windows icon on your computer. Look for the Autodesk folder. And when you open that Autodesk folder, it's going to show you different icons or different apps for Autodesk. Okay. First, you're going to do is sign in. Don't look for AutoCAD, look for just the regular Autodesk icon. Click on it, and then you're going to sign in to into Autodesk using your password, your username and password, or your email and password. Okay. So for those of you who have used the free trial and it may have expired and you're having problems signing in to the program, what you're going to do is open Autodesk, not AutoCAD. All right. And then you're going to sign in using your username and password, the one that you actually created. So before you actually downloaded AutoCAD. Okay. Amaya?
Yes, miss.
Okay, then. So in future, if anyone encounters that problem, please be mindful of that as well, okay? Any questions or anything that I probably missed out? I don't think I missed out something, but I don't know what.
Miss, what about the written part? Not yet. We didn't.
No.
Okay. Did you send anything?
Ladies, are there any questions you'd like to ask? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
So, miss, when I sign it to Autodesk, it should work on AutoCAD itself?
It should, yes.
Okay.
Maya,
Yes, miss?
also go back to your email and look for the serial number and product key that they send you.
The serial number
and the product key. Because remember, when you make your account, usually they give you a product key and serial number that you can use, which within the PowerPoint I stated that you must copy or write down those two information that was given. Okay, if you haven't written it down, check your email and most likely it should be there. Okay, just in the event that they ask you for it.
Because that's what they're asking me for. They're asking me to, when I sign in, they're telling me to put in my
product key,
serial number. And
yeah.
Yes, miss.
So check your email. All right. Are there any other questions you'd like to ask, ladies?
And I also want to suggest that you all start this SBA as soon as possible. If there's any problem, message us so that we can help, because you see what's happening. We don't know how many days y'all will be in. We're not too sure whether y'all going to do multiple choice again and the SBA. And look at this year, we had so many problems because it's only in the final stage they realized that it's only the SBA and so on. So they had us coming in. We had to fix SBAs. It was a lot of stress because I guess the students thought, okay, well, oh, I must do so good on the SBA. Beg them, and I said, come, when you have a free, come, let's sing it. Last minute, when they came to check, person who is responsible for us in the ministry came to check, and they asked, well, why the marks? I said, well, we tried our best as teachers, but children just decide that they can't be bothered with us. So in the last minute now, they had us trying to make blood out of stone, and that's the reason why the marks that some the students got was a little low, and it could have been better. But when y'all decide to procrastinate and, oh, they run in, you hide in, that kind of thing, let us help you. So do what you have to do. Send it, miss, this is what I did, can you check it for me? Do it early enough so that you don't get frustrated because you have so much things to do. So I would urge you to work on this as soon as possible. I guess as much you may not be so stressed in terms of all the work that you have to do at this point. So I suggest that you start, do your sketch, send it for us to see so that we can tell you, okay, this looks good, or you can continue here, change this, and then whenever you do your sketch, write in the room name so that we will know what the room is. So we could say that can work here because you cannot put the bathroom facility in the front of the building. So all of those things we have to look to see, because we don't want at the end when you realize, oh Lord, the bathroom facility is in the front and it should have been at a different location. So do your best, try as much as we are here to help you. So you do that and send it in, because as I said, we don't know if it's multiple choice and the SBA that you all will be using for your exam. So, right, so please do your best. And as I said, we're here to help you. So send if any questions. You all have my number. Well, my students message me and so on. And if I call me, if I can, I'm available. I'll do what I can do. But I have two boys there, so, and the one now, he kind of behaving because he's on the tablet. But when that tablet done is another thing. So, but I'll try my best and do what I have to do, and you do the same so that we can help each other in the end. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss, for clarifying that. Okay. So, any other questions in relation to the SBA, drafting proposal, sketches, AutoCAD? All right. Now, ladies, hopefully next week, God's willing, I would like us to start our online classes with Unit 1, well, from Unit 1 to 5. Now, the survey that I sent out in the group chat a week and a half ago what I wanted to know was which days were the best days for us to actually have classes or discussions. So most persons chose Tuesday and Thursday, and that is the days that we're going to have our classes. Okay, what time we're going to start, I'm not too sure as yet, but you will be updated soon enough. All right. Now, the units that are stated on, that are listed on Google Classroom, I can't remember how many units. I think it's 1 to 12, I believe, or 14. The units that are listed on Google Classroom, those are the units that we will be following for geometry for the rest of Form 5. Okay, so within the next 2 weeks, if you can cover at least Unit 1 to 5, the rest should be easier by the time school opens, and if we were to have one-on-one contact, or how frequent one-on-one contact is, we should be able to finish the syllabus for geometry at least by January on good terms. Okay, in that way you should be able to finish your second part of your or in this case the third part of your SBA, which consists of one plane geometry drawing and one solid geometry drawing. Now, most of the things that you'll be learning within those units will come in handy when you have to do your geometry. So yes, it looks like if you're doing math, okay, but this is what geometry questions would look like for CXC, and these are the questions you'll have to answer on the day of exam if you were to do just multiple choice. No building questions are asked within the multiple choice sections. It's just geometry and health and safety. All right. So for those of you who may have difficulty in understanding the concept of geometry or math in general, I think it's best that you at least try your best to buck up on that now before it's too late. All right. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you for coming this morning, and I hope that we will have a good, if not fruitful, term this upcoming school year, and pray to God that nothing bad would happen in any way or form within the next few months or years to come. All right, ladies. So again, enjoy the rest of your day. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me, please do so via WhatsApp within the times of 11 and 4 or 5, I think is the time I stated. All right. Any messages that I get after that, I will not respond. And most likely when I don't respond, the messages are in my inbox, so I don't go back and read it. All right. So again, if you have any questions, try to message me during those time frames. So ladies, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Miss, and you too.
All right.
Thank you, Miss. Same to you.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you, Miss. Same to you.
All right.